receiver Dez Bryant released by the Cowboys earlier today. Back when Jerry Jones anointed Bryant with the fabled number 88 worn by legendary Cowboys receivers Drew Pearson and Michael Irvin, the Cowboys owner said, quote, "I think that Dez has a chance to make the kind of impact people that have worn this jersey before." Like Pearson and Irvin, Bryant caught plenty of passes and plenty of touchdowns, but a championship eluded him, unlike Cowboys greats before him. Here's our Todd Archer on why Dez's number was up in Dallas.
Deep right side, get him in, what a catch! Oh, brother, what a catch!
I think we are unbeatable. You know, the sky's the limit for us.
The greatest thing about being on the Cowboys, people love to hate the Cowboys.
Nobody loved being a Dallas Cowboy more than Dez Bryant. When the Cowboys traded up in the first round of the 2010 draft to take him, he cried tears of joy. He arrived as one of Jerry Jones' biggest gambles. He leaves as one of Jones' best payoffs.
Throws a little fade to Bryant in the end zone. He caught it. Touchdown, Dez Bryant. On his horse by Dez. Merry Christmas, Dez.
Leaping to the end zone. Touchdown. What a play by Bryant.
Jones served as a father figure to Bryant, just the way he had with Michael Irvin, Charles Haley, and so many others. Jason Garrett lauded Bryant's growth off the field almost as much as on.
The growth and development that he's made over the course of his career with us has been exponential.
But there were times where Bryant's emotions got the best of him.
We're not done.
Cameras trained on his sideline outbursts, even if they didn't tell the full story.
I'm a very emotional player. I've always been that way. Got to do a better job of controlling, my emotions.
2 years ago, the Cowboys went days without contact with Bryant after he hurt his knee. Last summer, he missed a conditioning test at the start of training camp. Production always has a way of allowing a team to look the other way. His last 1,000-yard season came in 2014. In 2017, he failed to have a 100-yard game.
You can't pay a guy $16.5 million and get 800 yards receiving out of him. How do you improve that position group with that much money tied up in that little production?
The finances no longer matched up with the catches, yards, and touchdowns. Just last month, Bryant told 105.3 The Fan in Dallas he couldn't envision playing for another team.
Can you even imagine the idea of wearing the 8s in another uniform?
Nah, man. Hell no. I do want to bring this city, a championship.
The only team he ever wanted to play for has decided to move on without him.
Well, the emotions are certainly very raw right now for Dez Bryant. He took to Twitter right after the meeting, put out a couple tweets. This was one of them. "If I didn't have my edge, I got it now. I'm sorry. They got to feel me. It's personal. It's very personal." All right, so the recruiting has begun, guys. Here we go. Players out on tour and are going through it like Garrett Blunt. Come down in Detroit, bro. Throw up the X is the hashtag, and it's certainly out there. Come to Houston, bro. Of course, Tyrann Mathieu there, and also Jalen Ramsey. Dez Bryant, come on to the Jags. So it seems that everybody wants.
None of those guys are general managers of person.
Don't ruin the fun, Chris. Not just
You're
yet.
such a hater, Moore. What's wrong with you?
No,
I like Dez.
I get
I'm just saying
it. I hear what you're saying. They're not going to have any control.
Nobody can put cash in his hand, right? Except those guys.
Right.
All right, so obviously the conversation now becomes Dez no longer with the Dallas Cowboys. Where will he land? And will he land anywhere? Is his time up? So let's just begin first discussing the teams that could possibly have interest. Field, based on some of the things that you know and the people that you talk to, what are you hearing out there?
Yeah, we are documented. He's been released for all of an hour and 31 minutes. So name some teams that may come to mind that have a need at wide receiver. The Seattle Seahawks, for example, have a need at wide receiver. The question is that the kind of personality you want to bring in given some of the changes they made to their roster this offseason? I think the Arizona Cardinals still have some wide receiver needs right now. It's basically Larry Fitzgerald and a lot of unproven commodities. I mean, when Chad Williams, your number 2 wide receiver, he's a third-round pick last year out of Grambling, who makes a minimal impact, that tells you where they're at. And then I think beyond that, he has indicated that he will at least explore the NFC East. Perhaps that's the emotion that Jeff was referencing earlier, the idea that you can play Dallas twice a year. But I think we'll have a much clearer picture in the next couple of days here about who might be interested in Dez.
He's going to find a job. There's no question about that. It's like I said, I think the Alshon Jeffrey model from a year ago a similar type of receiver, not a lot of speed, but able to catch those contested balls. And Alshon turned that into a long-term contract, and it was only a one-year deal, $7 million. So he'll get that. I still think the Ravens. I could see the Ravens being intrigued here.
Yeah, the Ravens. I mean, you see. I mean, if I'm Dez, I'm Dez's agent. I'm calling the big boys. You know, I'm calling the New Englands of the world. I'm calling the Green Bay Packers of the world. I'm calling teams that I think can compete now, and that you have a guy who can put the ball on you and make plays. That's really what I would think. To your point, I think Seattle's a great fit. That would be an interesting one for me, probably the most interesting for me because of what they just did in their locker room. Do they want, they want a boisterous guy? Do they want? Yeah. They always talk about we'll let our guys be our guys. Is that still true? Yep. What's that whole model look like? But I'm going from the top down. I'm not starting the other way. I'm going to find the guy that I think can help me be the best player I can be in those two teams. That's where I'd start.
But as you mentioned earlier too, though, he's going to want to go to a winning team. He's turning 30 in November. He's not going to want to be part of a program that's rebuilding. And of course, he's looking to get paid as well.
I was going to say, he'll go to a winning team unless a losing team gives him $50 million.
Yes.
That's not going to happen.
No, don't think so. All right, guys, hey.